Go, go, go.
You are experiencing an Echoes of New Eden production.
And welcome everybody to Echoes of New Eden podcast post-debate show. And I am with Taylor, Rick, and OC Can't Stop today. So, I mean, we're all part of this. We're all, attending the debate. And all I can say is, wow. I mean, it went 2 hours. And the number of questions I had, based off time given and all that stuff, was about 1 hour, 10 minutes roughly, and it ended up going 2 hours. It was freaking crazy. Can you believe it?
Yeah, for those of you who sat through the 2 hour and 16 minute length of Q&A, man, good on you. Thanks for coming. We had a huge audience, so that was really, really nice to see everybody here. Some of that was a little bit of suffering on my part to sit and listen to. Some of it was good. I can't wait to go back to it and suffer a second time through, take notes this time, and actually clip some of that out for shorts that we're going to put up on YouTube. I will do that this week because there were some super gems in there, especially when Ron was saying we should all just love each other and have a big hug fest. That's going to be its own separate clip that goes up on YouTube for sure.
We're going to have to soundbite the heck out of it and get all these sound bites.
Yes, for sure.
Like Ron saying that he loves Stoney. And, yeah.
Yep. Rats inflicted the most damage to everybody. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The most
and
ad hominem attacks.
Day.
I'm gonna do a bunch of clips of OC just saying ad hominem and just put all those together, all of them, every single one, just over and over and over again for YouTube. That's it. So.
Do you want to have a timestamp for ad hominem? So you could have ad hominem 1, or just become ad homina, homina. You just add a homina after each one.
No, it's just going to be used. Every single time you said it, it's just going to be an audio clip of you. I'm not going to go put timestamps on that because that would be take me forever. That'd be all the timestamps.
That was actually 50% of the content today.
Yes, it was. No, it was a good show. I mean, I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to give everybody shit for it, but I did enjoy it. I think some of the honestly, I didn't look at any of the stuff that was done up front. I didn't look at the script I was supposedly going to be reading. I didn't pay attention to any of that because I knew I was just going to be sitting and listening, so I wasn't sure exactly what the questions were. They kind of took me by a little bit of a surprise because I didn't do my homework and read them ahead of time. and I'm kind of wishing I would have maybe maybe read some of those
Provided
questions
some
ahead of
input.
time and maybe provided
Yeah.
some input. Yeah, but I mean,
So,
it is what it is at this point.
I had asked each of the panel guests if they had questions that they wanted to ask the panel to provide them, and then I had asked the staff for input,
Yep,
additional
you did,
questions,
and I ignored it.
and as well as we had sent invites, I was getting messaged. I'm still getting messaged about how we didn't message certain people. I'm like, well, that's your leadership, not me,
Yeah.
So, like, then there's that kind of side conversations I was having. The on-air chat was awesome.
Yep.
People kept it civil. It was fun. The memes, all the Jacoba in a pimp hat. I mean, come on, where else do you see that? Like, that was so funny, and it was just a great time. But yeah, I had prepped it. I've been thinking about how we were gonna do this all week. I wrote the script, and actually, for the first time, like, it was scripted.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've written a script in a long time. And of course, in New Eden, Echoes of New Eden fashion, Taylor drops the ball and doesn't do
on the opener. I don't even read the
on
script.
the
Sorry.
open. I'm like, Taylor, I'm waiting. Like,
I didn't
you're
think I
up.
was supposed to talk or say anything, so I just left it at that.
So,
Oh, well.
But it was a good time. I especially appreciate the guests that we had, and I look forward to not only just listening to it once again, but also getting feedback from the community, from those that didn't attend it live. And granted, we had a record-breaking audience for a live show.
Yeah.
We had hit over 100. We'd peaked at 101 people in the comms channel at the same time. So I don't know, given how many people had left or come back or joined later, et cetera, et cetera. It's possibly it was more, but at one time we had 101 people, and I figured we probably would have broke records, but yeah.
Does that break the previous record of Who Wants to Be a Billionaire when you guys first aired that? Because I remember that was a massive show when you guys did that too.
Yeah, I believe our previous record was about 80 in comms.
Somewhere in there, yeah. I was going to say that same number too, somewhere in the 80s. So yes, it breaks the previous record, and there's some wrinkles with that, right? So obviously we can't stream it live. In order to get to the 150 cap, there's two things that happen there. Number one, we can't stream it live because as soon as we stream it live to anywhere, Discord caps you at 50 no matter what you do. And we can't turn our video cameras on. You get over 50 and it won't allow you to turn your cameras on either, regardless of streaming or not. As soon as we turn the cameras on, it caps us at 50, period, every time.
I mean, that makes sense, though. That's,
not
as you
really.
add a person,
like Discord, come on, stop.
Well, I mean, just from a cost perspective, right? Like, as you add one person per stream, it's not, what I mean is 25 people listening to 5 people talking is not half the cost of 50. It's non-linear. It's substantially different.
Yeah.
Mind you, I still hate Discord. Please don't think I'm defending Discord. I hate Discord.
Yeah, I don't know what would be better. I don't think there is anything.
TeamSpeak, Roger Wilco.
Roger Wilco.
I know, right? That was like old school.
Oh, man. I don't know. I really I'm very supportive. It's funny because I work in cloud, but I'm very supportive of anything that actually lets you own and control your own database. Very supportive of anything that lets you do that.
Make babies, not hate. LOL.
So, Taylor, I know you're falling asleep and trying to hold back and all that type of stuff, but I think there's times too where I'd be like, could I be in that position someday to potentially provide a good debate and bring some facts or stats or something to the board, or maybe some opinions, and have them be persuasive or charismatic enough to be believable. But it's just, I think in the future we could have more debates. This one being the first one for sure was kind of like the beta test. Granted, I put a lot of time into the back end type of things, doing the timing and the sound effects and all this stuff. But for future debates, if we can get people to come on and actually provide, agree to debate, say, an enemy in space, then that's cool. Like, hey, we'd be glad to have you. But I think too, maybe someday Taylor and I we can chime in on some things too, or maybe have Taylor not be a co-host for a day and have him just be the unhinged SHH executor and have him go off on everybody. So I mean,
yeah, maybe.
He kind of already does that already, but I mean,
kind of right. So. That's every other podcast, so that's why I wasn't needed for the debate today. I mean, honestly, that was one of the. I wouldn't call it a condition, but it was one of the concessions. It was one of the topics of conversation in order to make today happen. Was me saying I wouldn't take part. So.
Right. Yeah, and we agreed with that with Jacoba because we didn't want it to be like completely one-sided. We didn't want it to be a roast fest.
Right.
There's a lot of things that kind of went into happening, like, for the rules too, personal attacks, et cetera, et cetera. You would think that
ad hominem had to be used once every 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. I think that's seriously the word of the day.
Really,
that is seriously the word of the day.
I would say 99% of the time, those are more just reminders. I don't think...
Yeah.
I don't think anything that happened was too bad that hurt the conversation. I know we have people that are like, oh, post how many times. So we do have a sheet that shows like rebuttals and responses and stuff people did, but I wouldn't post that because, to Rambo's point, it's difficult to get folks sometimes to come on air and talk. And when they don't, and they really have legitimate different perspectives, I think the community is lesser served for it. And the point of getting leaders to agree to do it is not just that, oh, LOL, he's a leader, it's a rank thing. It's chances are the more senior you are, you're having more conversations that less people are. So it might lead to people having better insights to make informed decisions about.
Yeah.
And so OC having moderated this debate, I don't know if it's the first time you've ever done it or first time for Eve Echoes content or anything related. How do you think the debate went?
First time for doing it in Eve Echoes, I thought it was good, right? So I mean, I guess like feedback I would have, I would want the panelists to have the questions and be in the channel together to at least agree on the questions and the wording with a little more time. I think this one was good, even though it was general, because it's good to kind of see what direction we want to get pointed in with feedback. I think if we did another one, it makes sense that they share a common theme, right? So if someone wants to talk about IP, I think that, not that you're not allowed to talk about PvP in that one, but trying to make it a little more econ themed in the question. And if you have asides or closing statements, that's fine. And if someone wants to bring up PvP mechanics, I think you probably want a panel where it's like, that's really what we're talking about. Right? Like if you're talking about LOL supers, that should really kind of be it to provide a little more because what's difficult sometimes is once or twice, I think Run or Yoda could have gotten to a much deeper point, but they just didn't have the time wasn't there, right? And it's like it doesn't matter how they worded it in 2 minutes or even 4 minutes. It just one of the things Yoda had, I'd have to look, but it's like that could have. I'm sure he could have done probably like a 15-minute response. Even though he thought he wasn't going to have enough content for a 2-minute response, you could tell it's like he could have been a guest on the show just for that question, right? So
right. Yeah, and to your point too about the questions, is after I had actually gathered them and sent the questions to you, after you proofed them, I then sent them to all 4 panelists along with the rules. And
yeah, so they had the questions ahead of time. They had the questions.
So they did have the questions about 24 hours ahead of time to be able to prepare, and I did that, so they can make notes and all that type of stuff. So they were aware of that. So good deal.
I also think that making OC the moderator of everything was the perfect decision, because if you look at all the null sector blocks that were represented here, and OC being Provi, who is basically neutral to everybody, that was just the perfect decision right there.
Oh yeah, and for sure. And I'm super appreciative to have him as part of the staff on the show. He provides his feedback in our staff chat. He doesn't attend as many shows as I would like, but I do appreciate him being here and being available to do this for literally a historic moment in Eve Echoes content creation, because, like I said, nobody has done this before in the history of the game so far. So it's just great to have.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
I definitely think moving forward, though, Bravi should adapt the ad hominem as one of their taglines.
It should be on your medals, your
it's
in-game medals.
it's
You should
already
have it, yeah.
it's
did you
already
grab
an
medals?
OC
Wow.
alt. Yeah, it's
That's
already an
right.
alt.
Bro, that's so funny. Oh, do you have the list of alts? Is that where you're... I'm sure I'll be hearing about it in probably Discord for another 2 months. So.
I do
I'm
have
sure.
I do have a mental list as to what OS characters I think are OC can't stops. And I think I've even called him out on a couple of them. He's like, "Oh yeah, that one is, but that one's not." But yeah, ad hominem is a fresh alt for sure.
You bet. You bet.
Okay, so good
just-
deal.
Just
Go
to
ahead,
answer
David.
a question from the on-air chat to Momo. Unfortunately, no, I do not have the time to actually run the big kills anymore. I'm actually, if anyone wants to take the torch and run with that, I'll be more than happy to hand it off. But also to the fact is I can't give out dual Omegos since Getafix led the brigade on removing me from the official content creator or senior content creator status. So
All right, good deal. So we will continue on with, I guess, the latest and greatest news from Eve Echoes, if there is really any great news, right? But we are currently in this 4-week anniversary with week 3 coming up, as well as, you know, I think a lot of people are anticipating this week more so than previously.
Well, the next 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks for sure. But let's see, week 3, what do we got coming up? We got moon drilling, construction, and related technologies. At the same time, there will be some adjustments to corporation tech, and they're planning to open to level 5.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
moon drilling or moon mining is already there in level 6 Sanctum, and that's going to get moved over to 5. So for those of you who've seen that in the Corp Tech and went ahead and spent the Corp Tech points and ISK for it at level 6, RIP, you probably will not get reimbursed for the difference in cost. You should have waited. It'll be in Tech 5, which will be cheaper, both points and ISK-wise, starting on Wednesday after the patch.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing here that they have linked is launch new modules. Could it possibly be the photoshopped modules that you were talking about last week?
That's what it looks like, but there's also going to be new ships that go along with those new modules as well. So there's going to be some new, even though they scrapped some of what they were showing us a few weeks back, with the way that those ships were going to come out, tactical ships with a weird research and blueprint kind of new tree for them. Some of those ships are gone and gone for good. Some other ones are back on the list for Tuesday, Wednesday for the patch update. Some new destroyers and some new battleships. I don't know anything about new carriers, although I've seen some background info about like a Science-y tactical. I don't know if that's really there. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
That was a screenshot that was translated, and it was a tactical science-y. So
Yep.
Very interesting.
That'll be interesting to see what they do with carriers. More carrier love without more dread love. I don't know why that's a thing that's so
I
hard
don't
for
get
them.
it.
But yeah. So
Well, the thing too about the whole new destroyers and faction battleships is the login screen, the splash screen right now. Is that, I'd heard, I don't know if it's true, of a mock Black Ops.
no,
Is
it's
that what's
just-
on the splash screen?
No, it's
Or is
just
that just a mock?
that's just a mock.
Nothing special.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Was just curious about that. I was like, mock Black Ops. What? I don't know about that. I don't know anything about that.
No, there's no
I don't know
new
if it's
there's
an
no
EO
new
or
Black
anything.
Ops coming. No.
Okay. You heard it
Yeah,
here first.
something's going on with some feedback on someone's mic. I don't know whose
Yeah.
that is.
Is
That's OC's
Oh,
or
shit, like me.
as OC.
OC.
Is he doing the dishes right now while he's
That was my bad. We had a problem prior, so I had to adjust it. So now it's picking you guys up.
Gotcha.
Sweet. Yeah, so that's basically it for that. And then they have initiate ongoing balance adjustments to existing ships, modules, implants, etc. Okay. And then obtain corporation formation, motto, and participant data to conduct data verification. So they had released, oh shoot, I don't have the game up. I should bring up the game. they have released the list of corporations. You can check in the events tab for the voyage ceremony of which corporations that were invited and accepted the invitation, as well as the corporations that paid to get into it. So the lists are all in there, and you can see if possibly your corp. If you don't know if your corp is in the parade, then I don't understand the communication error there. I'm sure there's probably some pings that went out that said, "Hey, we're going to be in the parade. You might want to attend it or something." But there's a lot of corps in there, 36 in total. So, what was that, Taylor?
I said, yeah, they ought to know by now.
Yeah, for sure.
Emails went out the whole 9 yards, so.
You know, they're doing the whole formation thing right now. They're designing the formations. I do know of some corps that are going into it, and I probably could ask them what their formation is, but I'm not going to because I just want to see it live when the parade is actually happening. So that'll be cool. And I guess that'll wrap it up for the update for week 3 as to what we can see in the patch notes this next week. Now, I do want to note we didn't have a patch notes video from last week because last Tuesday was Tay-Tay's birthday.
Yep.
Right, Tay?
Yep.
So everybody wish him a happy birthday.
Oh God, not
I'd
again.
actually almost forgot about it until right now. But he's 30 for the 18th time or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, that's close. That's close.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Tay, and I guess we'll look forward to this week's patch and the content that brings. I'm excited for moon drilling, what that's going to be able to provide for the corporation, as well as content and the materials as to what we could be seeing out of those moon belts, as to what they can be going toward. And I guess all the hints are going toward Titans, right? So
or these new tactical these new tactical ships. I'm assuming Titans. That anything new material wise that comes out is going to wind up getting used for Titans down the road. That's just a kind of anybody would assume that at this point. That's their MO of how they operate anyway. So, but these new ships as well, just like they did with the new PI material that drops from ratting out in drone lands, right? So to go towards the ships like the Fiend and all the Navy issues and all that. Same thing with the plops. So they'll continue that trend. Complexity of builds it'll just keep getting more complex. So, which is good. That's a good thing for Indy. It's hard, but it's good.
Yeah.
I don't think moon mining itself is going to be quite what we all kind of hope for. I think it'll be okay. There definitely won't be enough of it. That's going to be a bottleneck. So they like to introduce things that become big bottlenecks to other things. And this is going to be another one of those where you're only going to do it once a week. Every corp is only going to be able to do it once a week.
To be honest, that timer is the main concern I have for it. I think it's going to be disruptive as a social element. I said that to them, but I don't think they really care about it. Like, so speaking of like versus Eve, right? In Eve, when you pop your moon, it's 3 to 54 days that you get to decide. So, like, say you have a weekly mining night, just as an example, if you want to do something casual and have people come on and talk and low stress. If it's a weekly cooldown, then what that means is that's now like a highly specialized, high production night. Versus if it's Eve, where it's like you can pop every 3 to 54 days, and your ROI per hour doesn't change. That's like a completely different mechanic at that point, like in terms of the pressure it puts on you.
Yeah, it's more pressure to do it every single week.
Exactly. Yeah,
just
and
like the Sea and Deads are pressure to do it every single week because of the debris and everything else you need. Yeah, there's real pressure there.
Well, if I read it correctly, I believe on the Chinese website where they did the original leaks of the moon drilling, is what you'll have. It's going to be a button press, just like the CNDS. You're going to have 26 hours or 24 hours to be able to run that or be able to mine the ores out of that moon belt. And if it doesn't, it disappears. But during that whole time, it's basically a cooldown from the next time that you'll be able to do that. So
which
I
is the
think
next
it's-
week though, and it's only one add-on. It's only one a week.
Yeah.
And there's only one
It's only
add-on.
one a week,
It's only
but
one a week,
that
and it's
doesn't
only
add up.
I know. I'm just telling you, it's only once a week. There's only one add-on structure that you can place. That's it. So if you have 7 citadels in your corp, you get to pick one spot to put that add-on structure, and that's the one place you get to run those each week, and that's it.
So the big question I have is with Taylor math / Taylor estimations, how long with the workable fleet will it take to mine out that belt? 5 minutes?
I mean, they
No,
did say 10,000. What did they say? 10,000 meters.
10 million.
10 million meters cubed.
M3.
Yeah.
So
That's a lot.
I did see some people do rough math on that. I think with
That wouldn't be long, man.
I saw with
multiple
a couple Rorks, probably 30 to 40 minutes.
I mean, it really depends, man. Because if you have one guy that went hard, you know what I mean, on his implant and all that, like, because like 2 Rorks could do that in under an hour.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think if anything, what it's going to bring about, well, I'm hoping, because it's on a weekly timer, like you said, it could be responsible for some really good kills or maybe very good PvP instances. Because if the rival corporation or rival alliance learns of your location where you spawn this, and around the time of a week, they could have a fleet ready and willing to jump those walls.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the saving thing obviously you'll be able to tell where someone's going to run it because there's going to be an add-on structure in that system. So obviously, I mean, we kind of know who mines where with large mining fleets. That's not an unknown thing already. And then seeing where the structure's added is another nice thing that you'll be able to tell. Okay, so they're doing it here. I hope there's some sort of animation on that structure that tells you that something's either been initiated or is about to be initiated, because that would really make for some interest. I mean, the only thing really on this end of it so far that's going to make it great versus it's okay is the whole PvP aspect of it. If those become focal points to stopping people from moon mining, because you can tell, or you have some sort of way of figuring out, besides just intel spies on Discord, but figuring out when someone's going to run it, that could be hella fun. That could be hella fun. I'm just drooling. I want to drop, I want to drop my Nix on a mining fleet.
Oh,
in Kraken
jeez.
space or AOA space.
And that's half a trill in kill mails if you get a couple Rorks, right?
Yep.
So
Yep. They better have some Overwatch.
not to mention if you scan them down, they drop their mods and
Yeah, with a new
debris
scanner.
and all this
Yeah.
other-
Yeah. Give me that red mod. Yep. We'll bring in Rorquals of our own to mine when they're dead and then pick up their shit.
out of that
Which
compressed
is-
door.
Which is another reason why I'm so very hopeful that when Titans do finally drop, that they will be able to do jump bridges. Because then it's just, okay, they're in. Okay, I'm going to drop my bait next. Okay, now jump bridge everything.
Now, if
You know
that
what I
jump
mean? I
bridge can
think
go over the top of a Sino jammer, yeah, I'm gonna gate a Titan all over the map. I'm just gonna gate the damn thing. That'd be amazing.
Okay. So that was basically it for what's upcoming there. Obviously we got to experience last week's patch and included the paid event and all that type of stuff. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary, on the paid version that made it special. The VAC in the box is available once again for those people that would want to spend the money. The super cores are like $2,500 US, so that's out of the picture. Even if it is ugly, I mean, it's not worth the money.
I gotta ask, does anyone find the pricing of those to be hilarious? Because when the first ones
Dumb.
came out,
It's absolutely dumb.
But the first ones that came out were the cheapest. Then people complained about the RNG.
I'm texting it.
They raised the price by 30%, and then the price is what, 400% on this one now?
Yeah, I think the way that they went about it with doing this weird belt refresh spend X amount of money toward it. It's like I looked at it. I looked at the rewards. You have to basically purchase all the rewards in order to get all the keys. Not only on just the first wave, but like all four waves. Yeah. And
well, ironically, the way to save money on your super core is to not go until you get the good ROI stuff, right? It'd be like giving up on implants to lower costs, and it just makes no sense.
Yeah. So
it's pretty bad all
saved my money in that sense. Yep. I'm like, where do I spend my money?
Nope,
not
doing
this
that.
Is dumb. Yeah, so.
I mean, they keep doing it, though, because people keep paying. If people stopped paying, I mean, more to Run's point from the previous, the panel discussion, if people stop paying, they will stop doing those kinds of things. They keep doing the same kinds of things because more and more people, or at least enough people, are paying them. It's that simple. I mean, it's a business. I don't care how many times you want to break it down or compare it to fucking airlines or whatever else consulting shit you do. But it is a business, right? And at the end of the day, a business is there to make money, and they're going to do things that make them money. And when they continue to do something that doesn't make them money, they stop and do something else. That's just 101. It's that simple. So they keep doing these things because they keep making money.
I think, they should do that as a business model, and they can do that because, granted, they own it. But I think this, for a paid event, has been the worst one.
Yeah.
I think we could all agree on that.
Just ignore it.
People that spend a lot of money on this game, and they do all the events, and even this event, they're like, no, this is absolutely dumb.
Yeah.
Call them a whale or whatever. They're actually choosing to not do it because the event of how it's structured or the rewards behind it, all that type of stuff. It's just, it's not that good.
Keep in mind, though, anytime they talk about new regions or they have some excuse or some way to talk about new regions, like they did here for this in this event, they are saying that there is a new region coming. So that's a very subtle hint, but they are saying that. The rest of Drone Lands has to be,
right?
Yeah, the rest of Drone Lands still has to be opened. So
I'm really afraid that it's not going to be Drone Lands and that it might be some version of what they canceled. That's kind of my concern, that they're like, don't worry, like, to get the ire out of the players, like, oh, don't worry, it's canceled, but a new region is coming.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's R&D it.
Like, we just canceled 6 months of work, but don't worry, something's coming. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's always other things besides what they were getting ready. I mean, if you really look at it, whatever they're about to release, they've been working on for 3 to 4 or 5 months, right? So whatever comes after that was 3 to 4 or 5 months in between those two. So there's always a staggered.
Right.
Even though we're talking about, God, this DDR guy, Jesus. Even though we're talking about NetEase here, they still have staggered release. They still have things they're working on and push to certain deadlines for when they want to put them out.
Okay, so that's it. Otherwise, not too much else is going on this week. I'm happy that Damon had provided us a episode yesterday of all the stuff that we covered the previous week. So that was cool to re-listen to. Thank you, Damon. We appreciate you. I was like, we just talked about this, all of this, but it's good stuff. I know he has a lot of stuff going on too, so respect to him. But otherwise, that's basically all I got. Just wanted to cover that stuff real quick, as well as post debate. As this episode is long, as well as the debate episode, I'm gonna put all that together, upload it to podcast platforms, and shoot it out. And then I'm on vacation the rest of the weekend. All right. No more content from at least me, this weekend. I'm going to relax. This was it for this weekend. So I guess thank you, Taylor. Thank you, OC, for being part of the debate as well as this podcast, and the audience that attended with us, I should say. And I guess we'll see you next week. We'll talk about all the happenings going on in New Eden. So thank you all.
I'll see everybody else Tuesday night. We'll see how the patch notes play out. We'll see you then. Thanks.
All right, 07.
Hey.
Okay, I'm